I was standing from probably the third row in the bottom. I heard the shot ring out. I looked to my left, and then I looked over to my right. I saw him slump over in his chair forward. He slumped over. He had blood coming from the left side of his neck down his shirt, and he slumped over and he was carried off. Get off me! Get off me!
Emotions are running high right now.
Certainly emotions were running high. He was just trying to speak and to say what he saw. And interestingly, though, if you think through what he said there, he said, I was in the third row, right? And a shot rang out and I looked to my left and I looked to my right. Now, we're not specific on where exactly he was standing, but if a high-powered rifle came from 250 yards behind you, you'd probably look back first, right? Yeah. Like common sense, if you heard the sound coming from behind you, you would look back, probably even before your brain came online. Your instinct would be to duck and to make sure that you're not going to get hit by something that's coming from behind you. Now, to clarify immediately here and to again debunk some other internet conspiracy theories, that is not Andrew Colvett in that video. A lot of people were like, is this Andrew Colvett from Turning Point USA hiding under a hat? It is not true. I spoke to Andrew on this actual day. He definitively flew in to Utah after the shooting took place. He was not therefore on the ground. But the person that is in that video, as soon as I just put up a picture and I said, I'd like to identify this person, his friend first left a nasty comment, like, why are you trying to look out for this guy? He did the right thing. How dare we ask questions? Like, how dare we try to get testimony from anybody else that day? Kind of then messages me privately because I reached out and I'm like, I'm just trying to confirm the story. And I reached out and he says to me, well, and I'm paraphrasing here, he doesn't want to speak to you. He doesn't want to speak to media because he's been instructed not to speak to media because he's gotten the Turning Point chapter into trouble before for speaking out in the media. And he just doesn't want to do that. And I said, that seems very strange to me. What are you saying to me? You have a TPUSA person who can't speak out about things. There were tons of people that were talking about their testimonies. It's very odd. In the immediate aftermath of the shooting, you're telling me
the war in Sudan has wiped away 4 years.
Speak to the media. So they were just doing what they were told. Well, then it's kind of interesting. You should know that I then determined that the person doing the shoving is first and foremost not a Turning Point USA employee. He is beyond that not a student at UVU. He is not a Turning Point USA student, therefore, either. He was actually brought in as a volunteer, which I found to be quite strange. Like, look, I've done a lot of campus stops, and typically it's the chapter of that school that does everything. It's the chapter that handles everything. Now, bigger events, they certainly work with other organizations, and it's possible, I guess, it registered to me as odd that a volunteer would have the courage to shut down a kid that's speaking in that way, in that aggressive manner. I would imagine Turning Point would tell their volunteers not to get physical with students on campus. Okay. But what do I know? I just have common sense. Now, how do I know that he is not a Turning Point USA employee and he is not a UVU or Turning Point USA student? Well, because despite him stopping a college kid from speaking about what he heard, that young man, whose name is Cooper, and I'm very comfortable telling you this because, well, he went on Fox News that very night to provide eyewitness testimony to exactly what he heard and what he saw, because apparently he was the person that was holding the mic when the shot rang out. Take a listen to what he told Jesse Waters on the night of.
Cooper Brown was an event volunteer who was just feet away from Charlie when he got shot. Cooper, what happened?
Yeah, so this requires a little bit of background knowledge, but so I work for an organization called Leadership Institute, and what we do is we work hand in hand with all the different conservative coalition groups on college campuses. So the Young Americans for Liberty, the Students for Life, and the Turning Point USAs. And so at Utah Valley, we had been really, really excited to be able to host Charlie Kirk this semester. And We had spent weeks and weeks and weeks getting volunteers, advertising for this event, and just so excited to be able to host Charlie Kirk at this university. And then unfortunately it had to end in absolute tragedy.
So I'm trying to get in touch with this individual once I realized that not only did he speak the night of, he also spoke on Fox News the very next day, which would mean what? Did Turning Point USA? I don't know the answer to this. I'm asking genuinely. Did they say, speak to this person who's not actually a TPUSA student, but he was there? I don't know how this works. But the next day, sure enough, he appeared on Fox News again. And I'm not sure if we had that clip, Skylar, but if we do, let's roll it.
That day we had 30 or so student volunteers that were designated roles that were going to be helping pass out Turning Point USA merchandise and getting people signed up for the event. And my responsibility was, when the event actually started, to help manage just the microphone. So something simple as just raising it and lowering it, making sure students were able to speak into it clearly. And I thought this was a fantastic opportunity to be up really, really close, to be able to witness all the amazing dialogue that was going to be happening on campus.
Couple of things about Cooper Brown that to me is a bit of a mystery at this moment. First and foremost, you provide witness testimony. You start doing the rounds on Fox News. You are fair game, okay? I'm going to start asking questions because I need to know everything. Everything's got to fit neatly into my timeline. So in trying to reach out to him and in publicly posting, hey, I'm trying to identify this individual, I received a ton of emails. One email said, hey, I'm actually his cousin, and here is his number. Now, I noticed that that cousin happens to live in Phoenix, Arizona. So I went and just checked some profiles on social media. I found some Browns, but they were all living in Phoenix, Arizona. Okay, maybe this person's from Phoenix, Arizona. Well, actually, when I went through what he has as his resume on this website where he says that he works with this institute, I couldn't fact check any of the things. Went to school, a very small college in New Hampshire. I'm from the Northeast. If you're going to school in New Hampshire, especially not the University of New Hampshire, you can go ahead and bet that you're going to be a local. So I'm looking for a kid that's from New Hampshire to go to this tiny school. I found someone from that name with his name, but it was actually a girl that had that name and graduated in the year that he says that he graduated in. He doesn't look to me like he just graduated college, but according to his resume, he did. And the number that she gives me, which is the first thing that registers to me as odd, is it's a Utah. It's a Phoenix-based number. So I'm going, who is this person, and why is it linking that number to somebody else who is 32 years old and has that same last name? I don't know. I intend to get those answers, but there's something here that strikes me as a little bit odd, especially given the fact that as a volunteer, as he expresses there, they decided to allow him to hold the microphone. That's supposed to be like kind of an honor at Utah events. Turning Point USA kids work really hard to put these events on. They decided who's going to hold the microphone. They went with a volunteer. I don't know, but I'm going to find out. Okay? I don't know, but I'm going to find out. So if you went to the Southern New Hampshire University with this Cooper Brown and you majored with him in politics and you can provide some insight, I'd like to hear from you. I am, again, asking these questions publicly because we are getting no answers from Turning Point USA or the feds or anything that makes any practical sense in this scenario. Why was everything so brand new on this day? Now, for those of you that are still caught up in what I just told you, which is that for a fact, Charlie was shot from the front. So we know the bullet trajectory. There's no games here. There's no magic bullets. It's a smaller weapon, okay? Your ears didn't betray you. My ears didn't betray me. We definitely did hear a very recognizable sound of a rifle shot, but I'm telling you that Charlie wasn't hit with that rifle. And there is not a medical examiner's report or a death certificate which will stipulate otherwise. It doesn't exist. So what exactly are the feds building their case on? Vibes or sheer corruption? Because I'm thinking it might be the latter. And who would be the person that can make that fit? Look, I did receive a tip, and guess what? There was another person in this never-ending brand new cast of characters that was also involved in this story, and this person in an email insisted to me that this is somebody that we should look further into. That's the medical examiner. It is a woman named Dr. Deidre Weiss Amaro. Deidre Weiss Amaro is her name, and she blew in from California. She was announced as the new state medical examiner in May of 2024. From Missouri. I think she also worked at some point in California, and she was announced as the new Utah medical examiner, state Utah medical examiner in May of 2024. So I'm interested in learning as much as I can about this medical examiner. I'd like to know more about this medical examiner. And if you've got something, you know this her personally, got a story, please do send it to us at moretips@candaceowens.com. Now, it is possible, given what we know about Fed-type operations and what we know about the JFK shooting, which we are still not allowed to know the truth about, but we all know what the truth is, that there are often decoys, even decoy sounds, that it is totally plausible that there were multiple people there that day who found out, maybe even in the last hour, which one of them was going to take the shot, right? It is likely that a rifle was fired to muffle the sound of a smaller gun, which maybe actually kind of had to, if we're considering the trajectory that I'm telling you, here to here, kind of had to come from the front of Charlie. And I will say that is now my well-informed opinion that we are looking for a person that was a lot closer to Charlie and likely in the audience. And that goes a long way, by the way, in terms of trying to explain why they're maybe hiding the footage from behind Charlie's head. Maybe that is the reason that footage was so crucial, first and foremost. Now, there are tons of other cameras. That one gets grabbed first. It seems to me that there's a lot of hiding and there's definitively a lot of lying that's going on. I told you, Tyler Boyer lied. He just lied. The person who took the cameras down was absolutely not instructed to do so by law enforcement. He just wasn't, okay? So why say that? Also, why grab the one behind his head first? Of all the cameras, why that one first and foremost? And when I actually think about the clip that I was shown, it was more to the right. I actually feel that there is this remarkable blind spot on the left of Charlie, which is why I was asking if anybody had footage, not footage if you're sitting there and taking footage this way, but if you are Charlie, I want to see what he would have seen looking slightly to his left. By the way, despite the fact that we had this amazing cast of characters, all these Caldera engineering connected people who made it to the mainstream media to talk about what they heard, there was actually one eyewitness there who could not be shoved out of the way and was able to make his way onto Fox News immediately after to provide a description of where he believed the shot came from, and that's Jason Chaffetz, right? Jason Chaffetz is a former politician and a Fox News contributor who was a witness to this event because he is from Utah. He attended this event. He apparently was in communication with Charlie ahead of the event. And I have to say that of everyone that day, he's maybe one of the few people that I would say on the mainstream media that seemed genuinely shaken by the event. He went live, was speaking through what he saw, what he heard, what he was expecting, and he was rebutting, because he was on a couple of shows, rebutting the idea that the shot was from far away. That's very interesting to consider. You got a bunch of kids who are trying to speak and they're getting censored. Then you have a bunch of people that are giving a platform and they seem weird, right? Tiffany Barker on Good Morning America, vibes were weird there, okay? Not assigning any necessarily badness to her, but didn't feel right. Jason Chaffetz, however, genuinely, when I looked at the footage, he seemed shaken by the event. And let's hear where Jason Chaffetz says he believes the shot came from. Take a listen.
Being there, seeing it within proximity, it seemed like it was a close shot. Mm-hmm. The venue is such that there's a 4-story building, which is the administrative building to the south. The other buildings around the side are not quite so high, but you could be on the second level and watch Charlie. The police had moved the people. There were some people that were above Charlie, so that awning that you're seeing there there's a place to be there. But the police moved people out to the sides. And so you couldn't be right above where you were at. But if I had to guess, and again, it's still raw, but if I had to guess and give a police statement right here, right now, today, see where that water is? It looked to me like it was in close proximity, straight ahead, right in that area.
Yeah, we're looking
if I had to guess. Again,
Quite interesting. And then elsewhere, when he's on Fox News and people are saying the shot was from like the Losey building, he doesn't believe that. He doesn't believe that. By the way, Jason Chaffetz, he's been honest about his background. His parents are in the government. They're literally in the FBI. So he's telling you that shot was closer. So what gives? Also, why is everybody telling lies? I want to be very clear. It's possible that the people at Turning Point are simply terrified. That's definitely a possibility here. They are very much aware of what these people are capable of. And maybe they're just trying to get by. And they're being told what to say and what to do. And they want to keep the peace. But here's what I think may have happened. I think that I accidentally ruined the Fed narrative. I think the plan was to never allow the back footage of Charlie to see the light of day. Never was allowed to see the light of day. That way, they were going to say that they recovered a 30-06 bullet, right? Instantly, we recovered a 30-06 bullet. They were maybe when they were digging stuff up and there it was and it went through, we wouldn't have known, we would have been none the wiser, right? No one else is telling us anything or showing us anything. And I think they were going to say, or the other option, like it completely took his neck out. We wouldn't have been any wiser. But then I watched it. And the thing that jumped out at me was that not only did the bullet not pierce through, that there wasn't a single dot of blood on Charlie's bleach white shirt until he falls out of frame and onto the ground. I think we accidentally ruined what they were going to try to do to frame this. I think they wanted this to be a 30-06 narrative. And now they're going to have a lot of difficulty getting that through a courtroom. They panicked. They tried to explain it away. They're saying that it's a miracle. I don't think it is. It obviously was not a miracle. I think it is likely that what we should be looking for are two people that had weapons that day. Somebody that was in the audience, somebody that was elsewhere with a rifle. That explains also why, by the way, when I take a look, there's so many adults. There's no UVU kids that were in the mainstream media. Cooper's not even a UVU kid. He's not a TPUS kid. Why were they not able to find UVU students to say what it is that they heard and what they saw that day? And what's really interesting is I told you guys already about Nick, who has been assisting me on the ground. And one of the first things he said to me was that I felt like they were coming around, the feds were coming around, and they were trying to implant memories into our heads. So he was like, I felt like there were these people walking around that we didn't recognize, and they were like, you heard one shot, we heard one shot, we heard one shot. And he's like, I know that sounds weird and conspiratorial, but it seems like they were trying to make us believe that this is what we heard. And it's interesting also because remember, when Phil Lyman gave us his footage and he walks outside of that building, the two now infamous goth girls who are not goth at all and they're just wearing black, they say that they heard two shots. They never made it to Fox News. They never made it to the mainstream media, but they too also said that they heard two shots. Take a listen.
You see where that came from? It was right here, wasn't it?
It was like over here.
Yeah.
What can I say, guys? I think it's pretty obvious that our instincts about this have been correct from the very beginning. We probably need to be now looking for a shooter that was in the audience and to the left. I've seen you guys. I saw some guy on Alex Jones that created He created a whole web and explained and did this all on a computer of where the trajectory would have to go. We need you again, ballistic YouTubers, gun people, gun enthusiasts, military men, the people that they're discounting and saying you have no right to get clicks. No, please get clicks. Explain to us what it is that you know in this decentralized intelligence agency, given the information that I am telling you, okay, that unless we have a bullet that's doing the worm like a WWE wrestler, okay, bullets fire straight. And this one went straight into the front left lower side of his neck, essentially exploded his artery and did not exit out of the back. But that is where a bullet fragment was found. So map it out for us. There's something else that I would like to point to that is getting interesting, and that is regarding Caldera Engineering. Caldera Engineering. Now, I said from the very beginning that this company was shady. It flagged me as weird. All I was trying to do at that point was not looking to Caldera Engineering, but rather to track down the footage. Irwin Steel, this steel, so many steels were involved. It turns out the steels are big with Caldera Engineering. And things aren't adding up with this company, okay? It's just not adding up with this company. And I can tell you, I was receiving information from people who work with valves, who have been in the industry for 30 years, that live nearby, and said, I have never heard of Caldera Engineering. That's not normal. I've never heard of them. I've never worked with them. I've never received any of their valves. Something's not right here, right? I knew something wasn't right, but you can't just always go off of just, we know something's not right. We have to figure out what exactly it is that is incorrect here. Then I also decided to prod the narrative further. Another person gave us a tip and said, hey, did you know that there's literally someone who works at Caldera Engineering who is a professional actor? Like no background in engineering, went to school for theater, worked in theater, was in plays, was involved in plays. I looked through everything, went through it. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. Why is he suddenly at Caldera Engineering? Like not later in life, just like randomly on his resume is Caldera Engineering. Why are they hiring gay actors? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I'm telling you guys what are the things that I have stumbled upon. Then somebody emailed us, and this was strange. We have not been able to corroborate this. We can tell you the link was real, and that but we don't know if the internet was scraping and got things incorrect. But there was an Israeli individual who was listed as the founder of Caldera Engineering. We obviously know that Caldera Engineering had said that they did projects according to their website in Israel. I don't know what projects they worked on. We weren't able to corroborate currently that individual is still working with the company. We don't know if this was accidental. Sometimes the internet can do some funny things and scrape and put information where it doesn't belong. This particular individual has a very long background in engineering in Israel. Maybe it's because they work together, and that's the internet thought that this person was the founder and the individual was not. But it's piquing our interest now. We are confused, I would say, at best, about this company, because when we wanted to go back and just determine who the founders were, well, just our bad luck. A company was established in 1997, so you won't be able to get those formation LLC docs. You can find LLC docs in general, but they didn't start digitizing those until the early 2000s, so you're not going to get anything where you're going to be able to see the actual formation docs. You can see changes they made in the early 2000s. You can see who the manager or the president, all of that stuff we found. But I would love to find those base formation docs. And in order to get them, you have to go in person somewhere. And I am certain I'm not going to be able to get my hands on that. Something else that was really interesting as I was looking into Caldera Engineering was that they opted to, in their very early years of their company, use a lawyer for trademark purposes down in Arizona, right? And I'm looking at these early documents and I'm like, wait a second. I know this lawyer. This lawyer was introduced to me by Tyler Boyer at Turning Point USA. I've worked with this lawyer. I've paid this lawyer. This is crazy. So what is the pipeline between Utah and Phoenix? I don't know. You can use a lawyer anywhere, but when you're formulating your company, maybe it was a friend. I don't know. But I now have a ton of questions about Caldera Engineering. So if you have any information Are you able to find anything about them? Or maybe you are an engineer and you're like, I've been buying their valves actually for 20 years, actually, and they're fantastic. They work great. I'd like to hear from you. Again, more tips at CandaceOwens.com. All right, you guys, I'm going to throw it to some sponsors. First and foremost, Preborn. You guys know I love them because I have watched too many.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna get some water or something. Please stay tight, okay? What do you think, guys? If you have any questions or opinion, I would like to hear your opinions. And if you have any tips, if you are from the US and you have any tips, please help Candace. Okay, send her the info to her email address, tips@CandaceOwens.com. Okay.
800-795-1210 or visit americanfinancing.net/Owens, americanfinancing.net/Owens. Also, something that me and my team love and are always craving are Paleo Valley beef sticks. Specifically,
my work is easy because I use ClickUp. Here's how I keep.
They make their beef sticks with 100% grass-fed beef sourced from small-scale regenerative American farms, so you can feel good about what you're eating and what you're supporting. They've stripped out all the junk, so there's no preservatives, gluten, soy, sugar, dairy, or GMOs, just clean, nutrient-dense fuel, the way that food was intended to be. So whether you're road tripping, working late, or running around with the kids, these sticks deliver high-protein energy without the crash. Whether you're keto, paleo, carnivore, doesn't matter. Paleo Valley will work with your lifestyle, not against it. They come in a multitude of bold flavors, including original jalapeno, summer sausage, maple bacon, and teriyaki. So there's something for everyone. With over 55 million beef sticks sold, Paleo Valley is trusted, proven, and backed by a 60-day money-back guarantee. So right now you can get 20% off your first order by visiting paleovalley.com/Candace. You can use code Candace at checkout. Again, paleovalley.com/Candace, promo code Candace at checkout. All right, a couple of updates for you. We're getting all of your emails, and I want to tell you we're working on everything, okay? It's like an investigation that never stops. It's just trains that are slowly moving as we get answers. And like I said, even that I've been sitting on for a while. I'm waiting for people to react, see what people say, because I need to know who's guilty. Of what, I don't know, but I need to watch people lie. Now, one area of conversation that I haven't said much about, but I want you to know we are still working on it, are the two planes that day, right? One of them being the plane that people have recognized is military. That's tail number N1098L. So this plane left from Texas, went over to Utah right about the time that Charlie got assassinated. It dipped real low. It seemed like who knows what this plane was being sent there for, but the fact that this plane had been used in the military rightfully alerted people to the fact that they may have had some knowledge. This plane may have had some knowledge of what was going to occur. But one thing I want to clarify for you is that that plane was being contracted. You guys noticed that it was owned by LaSalle Aviation LLC. We are awaiting more information, but I just wanted to let you know that if you recognize that, it is strange. It did happen. There's no question. I've been saying from the beginning, this was a military operation. It's very obvious. the more you peel back the onion, it is very obvious that this was a military operation. So it's fitting that you would have a plane that the military certainly uses. Who would contract that sort of plane? Now, this would be a very easy question for Kash Patel to answer. Hey, Kash Patel, most transparent ever, except when it comes to Epstein. What's up with this plane? Certainly, you have knowledge of who contracted this plane. The answer, if you're being transparent, is going to be like, oh, just a coincidence. Just a coincidence. Somebody decided to take a vacation flight from Texas over Utah to do a little circle and return back home. It happens all the time. When you're bored and you just have an unbelievable amount of money, that's what you do. We're not going to get those answers from Kash Patel about that plane. We're not even getting straight answers about the other plane. That's the plane where Derek Maxfield, his wife Shalane Maxfield, they sold some beauty company for billions, I believe, and they now just run a human sex trafficking organization in Utah. That was that plane. I can't remember. 888 is what I actually remember. And it seemed as though that plane left. It went to Page, Arizona, and it appeared that the ADS-B transponder turned off. Now, what Kash Patel told us is different from what Derek Maxfield told us. Derek Maxfield on Instagram clarified that the Air Traffic Control Center was in agreement with them that they could stop transponding. Kash Patel says that plane never stopped transponding. So I don't know what the truth is, and I'm not even pretending that we're ever going to get the truth. What I can tell you is that the investigation that we have been privately conducting has led to more questions than answers. Obviously, multiple pilots, people that work at these airports, people who are invested in this story have reached out, and I am grateful for that. Multiple people have confirmed that this plane was a little bit weird that day. It was supposed to land in Page, Arizona, in Millionaire FBO. Last second, it made a change. Just so you guys know, an FBO is just a private terminal. So if you're in a public airport, you go to Terminal 7. If you're flying private, you go to FBO, and it has a name. So that plane was supposed to land into an FBO called Millionaire. Last second, that plane decided to change and say, we are going to instead land into Signature, a different FBO. Apparently it landed into Signature. That's certainly what we were told, but there's something off about that, because when people are trying to look into it, somebody at that FBO at first said, oh yes, you've made multiple trips in the last couple of days. And then that person said, I don't know what you're talking about. No plane ever landed here. What? Multiple people have confirmed this for me, that there's something very unusual about this flight. They are guarding information about this flight. That doesn't make sense to me. I don't like that we've got feds guarding like FBO information. We've got feds guarding Dairy Queens. I don't know. Do you need your ice cream guarded? What is going on? Like, guys, you got to just give up. It's going to come out. Whatever it is going to come out. You would have to, and I wouldn't put it past you, you'd have to get rid of all of us. You've got like 7 billion people you've got to ethnically cleanse right now if you want us to just forget about the Charlie Kirk story. No one's forgetting it, okay? Not the ballistics guys on YouTube that we're all listening to. And no one's going to let this one go because, and by the way, that's your fault. I don't know whose sadistic idea it was to make this a public execution, but let me tell you where you made the mistake, okay? In 1963, when JFK was shot, people didn't watch it on TikTok. People mostly read about it, and then the feds lied about it, and they heard about it. But to be able to have us watch that live around the world, you traumatized all of us. And not in the way that you meant to. You meant to traumatize us and maybe then make us fearful and scared. And yeah, that happened. Then you made us really angry that corruption is allowed to be like this, just so blatant and so in our face, looking at us as if we're nothing. And what are you going to do about it? That's the attitude. What are you going to do about it? You wanted to traumatize us and then to, on a dime, flip and look us in the face and go, how dare you ask questions? People are grieving. Yeah, we're grieving because you assassinated Charlie Kirk in front of the entire world. If you had pretended he slipped and fell on some ice in the winter, maybe you wouldn't have this response. But you got our attention because you went after our attention. You wanted this for whatever sadistic reason. You wanted this to be a public execution, and that disturbs me. So you get what you get, okay? This is the internet generation. You get TikTokers that are asking questions. You get our military guys. You get our ballistic boys. You get the TikTok medium psychic ladies. You get everybody. All of us are here, okay? It's like a high school class. You got all different types of characters here, but we're running this, okay? We're running this. And we're not going to be nice to any substitute teachers that you try to throw in there and try to calm down. Nope, we're not doing that, okay? We're not calming down. We're pretty upset, and we're going to stay upset. Anyways, I'm going to tell you guys also an update about Josh Hammer, who's an idiot. He really is an idiot. First and foremost, just funny. I should have pulled it up. He also brought up his book. He issued a statement about the retreat weekend. Josh Hammer just lies through his teeth all the time. And so he was releasing a statement about how wonderful the Hamptons retreat was and that him and Seth Dillon totally did not press Charlie on anything. And in this public statement, he mentioned his book again. He said, like, I came to the Hamptons because Charlie wanted me to bring signed copies of my book. I mean, wacky. This man, it's always appropriate if you're Josh Hammer to promote your book, which is just amazing. Anyways, his response yesterday to our episode was to release text messages between him and Charlie following the call. Great. It lets us know that the call happened at the exact same time that we figured it would actually happen in our timeline, that it had to have been an evening call before he tweeted public execution in this 3-hour window. But these are the messages. We should read them. Charlie Kirk, thank you for your help, guys. A totally standard response that you say no matter what. Exclamation point. And then I assume this is Josh Hammer that replies and says, good luck at the campus visit start. Don't hesitate to let me know or any of us know how we can help. What's your first stop tomorrow, by the way? And I felt like that was weird because I feel like his whole story was that Charlie was reaching out to him because he wanted help to strengthen his debate. He needed tips on how to, because he just loved Israel so hard that he was like, give me the best talking points so I can go out there and I can defend this state. And I know that like a couple hours ago, I was really angry and I said, I'm done with the pro-Israel lobby, but now I just love you so much that I want to get on the phone with you and have you, who could not beat me in a debate, teach me how to debate. That's what he told us. So we're supposed to believe that he didn't know where Charlie was debating, but that was what the call was about. I don't know. I feel like you would maybe know, and that may have come up in a call where you were prepping for his debate tomorrow, where exactly it was that he was debating tomorrow. I don't know anything other than that Josh Hammer is an idiot who can't be trusted and lies through his teeth. I do want to get to speaking on the topic of Israel. There was a very good video that came out. Actually, let's first talk about the Israel and Hamas peace deal that they're trying to shove down our throats. Now, if you're reading the headlines, a peace agreement is what we're calling it, has been reached between Israel and Hamas. Oh my gosh, because they decided that there's going to be phases and Israel is going to partially withdraw its troops from Gaza and Hamas is going to release the remaining hostages. And this is, of course, after everything that happened on October 7th. Don't forget about October 7th. And yeah, like hundreds of thousands of Palestinians are missing. And yeah, they have destroyed 85% of Gaza, and they're going to try to tell us that we've reached peace. At the center of it was Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. They arrived on Wednesday morning to represent the U.S. negotiators from Israel, and Hamas and the mediators from Qatar and Egypt and Turkey also participated. And we're supposed to go, wow, that's amazing. Trump put a statement out on Truth Social. He wrote, I'm very proud to announce that Israel and Hamas have both signed off on the first phase of our peace plan. This means that all the hostages will be released very soon, and Israel will withdraw their troops to an agreed upon line as the first steps towards a strong, durable, and everlasting peace that all parties will be treated fairly. I can't even finish it because it makes me sick that they think we're this dumb. 85% of Gaza has been destroyed in this pre-planned, controlled demolition of Gaza Bibi Netanyahu was on camera explicitly before October 7th saying we need to hit them so hard that they can't come back. Jared Kushner is involved in, he will financially benefit from whatever they build in its place. Again, all of this began before October 7th, right? So we are supposed to believe that this isn't just, well, business as usual. We got done, we needed to get done, and now we can begin phase 2. But we're supposed to thank them. We're supposed to thank the monsters that did this. You guys have it in your heart to say thank you? Thank you to Jared Kushner and Donald Trump and Bibi Netanyahu, who are just business partners playing a role, convinced that we're all so stupid. I mean, let's roll the clip back from Jared Kushner when he sat down at Harvard, Mossad operation, to speak about their aims. This is February 15th, 2024. Take a listen.
There are real fears on the part of Arabs, and I'm sure you talk to a lot of them, who think once Gazans leave Gaza, Netanyahu's never going to let them back in.
Maybe, but I'm not sure there's much left of Gaza at this point. So, you know, if you think about even the construct, like, you know, Gaza was not really a historical precedent, right? It was the result of a war, right? You had tribes that were in different places, but then Gaza became a thing. Egypt, you know, used to run it. And then, you know, over time, you had different governments that came in different ways. So you have another war, you know, usually when wars happen, you know, borders are changed historically over time. And so my sense is I would say, how do we deal with the terror threat that is there so that it cannot be a threat to Israel or to Egypt, right? I think that both sides are spending a fortune on military. I think neither side really wants to have, you know, a terrorist organization enclaved right between them. And Gaza's waterfront property, it could be very valuable to, if people would focus on kind of building up, you know, livelihoods. You think about all the money that's gone into this tunnel network and into all the munitions. If that would have gone into education or innovation, what could have been done? And so I think that it's a little bit of an unfortunate situation there, but I think from Israel's perspective, I would do my best to move the people out and then clean it up. But I don't think that Israel has stated that they don't want the people to move back there afterwards.
And Trump wants a Nobel Peace Prize, by the way, for the planned ethnic cleansing so that they could profit on the land and turn it into a beach town. So let me say this. This is our never again, okay? This is a Holocaust. A Holocaust just happened. A real Holocaust just happened. We will never forget this. You need to tell your children what happened in Gaza. You need to tell them exactly who did it, exactly whose families were involved in this. And when you hear in the future somebody tell you, like, we're going to Gaza Beach for a vacation, you need to look at them like they are the absolute vermin of our society, because they are. They are. Their children will be cursed, okay? If you go and you play in the sand where you know that your forefathers planned to mass murder children, you will be cursed. Every person who steps foot on that, every family that is set to inherit what they did, they will be cursed. Your children's children will be cursed. Gaza belongs to nobody but the Palestinians. So when you begin to move the Israelis in there, and when the Trump hotel gets built on there, I caution the rest of the world to stay far away from that cursed land, because something is coming. You can't commit that much evil in broad daylight and not think it's going to come back to haunt you. Anyways, God bless. May he get his Nobel Peace Prize. Sticking with that point, obviously, I was looking to see what people thought about the text messages, and it was really funny. I came across a clip of Matt Walsh, who I adore. It's very funny. And he was saying about the Charlie Kirk messages, he actually thought they were fake because he said he couldn't believe the sentence that felt too on the nose. He's like, I genuinely thought that there's no way Charlie would ever leave the pro-Israel lobby. First and foremost, his support for Israel, he loved it so much. So it's like, you must have done a lot to make him actually write that statement, which felt too on the nose to Matt Walsh in that text message. I have no choice but to lead the pro-Israel cause. And anyways, he gave some very sage advice, which is not going to be heeded by the Josh Hammers of the world, about what that really means, that your behavior pushed even Charlie Kirk away. Take a listen to what Matt Walsh had to say.
And at some point, if you're on the pro-Israel side, you really need to be honest with yourself and engage in some actual honest self-reflection and self-analysis. You really do. Because you're losing the argument. I mean, you're just losing it. You are. And I've never seen any side of any argument lose this much support this quickly. I can't think of any other example of something like this. And if you're on that side, you need to have the courage and humility to ask yourself what you're doing wrong.
It's never too late to say Kanye was right. Never too late. And I'd like to say that Kanye was right. It's behavior. It's how they treat people. It's statements like that, like just pretending like we're just making things better when we do an ethnic cleansing. That was pre-planned. We're just better. We should get a peace prize. It's coming to an end. You can feel it. Like I said, unless they've got a plan, and maybe they do, to kill 7 billion people, our memory will not allow them to just move along from what happened here, a true evil. Anyways, before I get to some of your comments, I see that we are almost up on an hour. Throw to some more of our sponsors. Pure Talk, first and foremost, our society.
Okay, guys, about the Israel and Gaza that Candace just talked about. Can you guys actually educate me a little bit on it? Because, I don't know, because if Trump did not do it right now, and there are still wars going on, then it's better to be done right now. Am I right? So Candace seems like saying that Trump, Netanyahu, all these people, they have like a plan, a pre-plan, actually, to do like the beach town, something like that. But is it real? But I think because now they reached the peace, right? The peace deal. So isn't it good or better? If there's no peace deal, then it's going to be war. That's why I would like to know why Candace says that. Perhaps I get her, like she was very mad because like actually they planned all this. Okay. But anyway, the war is ended right now. I mean, yeah, because of the deal. Okay, I don't know, man. I don't know what to say. If you guys can educate me on this, send me info, any video links, I would like to go and watch, please. And actually, how Candace knows all this? I'm quite interested in this as well.
Skincare. Mimi is Nimi is proudly American made.
So,
a world of,
as she said, all these wars are actually business. It's crazy, guys. The world top leaders are insane. They're insane. Please pray for the hostages of the Israel-Hamas war. It's crazy, man.
Your mind. Giving you a lot of information. More to come. First and foremost, we have Petra Lab. She writes, Candace is the real Liam Neeson in the movie Taken, has particular skills like smelling out lies, knows the authorities are not trustworthy, and is determined to find out who betrayed Charlie. Liam would not trust the authorities to find his daughters. Keep going, Candace. Yeah, you got to be just insane to trust the authorities. As soon as somebody says, we're just trusting the authorities, suspect on the list. What do you mean we're trusting the feds? Like, since when are we doing that? Mary Go Wrong writes, that's very funny. Mary Go Wrong. Keep speaking the truth, Candace. Thank you so much. Julie G writes, I've been spending a couple of hours a day defending you on X, and I'm truly honored to have done so. They've gone a little quieter over the last few days. The special bond that you shared with Charlie is evident for all to see in many videos of you both. Truth will prevail. Thank you, Julie, so much. Also, don't waste your time. In case you don't know, there's like military bot farms on X, which sucks, but that is reality. And so you're not even fighting with real people. So they dominate on X, not so much on Facebook. There's a bit more real people. On Instagram, there's more real people, but they do have bot farms there too. Radical Rat writes, thank you very much for that donation. Hi, American Muslim fan here. In the spirit of friendship between our faiths, here is an excerpt from the Quran about Jesus, who, speaking as a baby to defend Mary's honor, said, I am the servant of God. He has given me the scripture and made me a prophet, and he has made me blessed wherever I am. God is my Lord and your Lord, so worship him. I think all of us are realizing the tremendous need for true faith right now. And I had sort of tweeted a couple of days ago that you can sense a chink in the armor of deception. Like, we're learning a lot about how a lot of money has been put behind these Judeo-Christian programs, which was something that I would speak about with Charlie because he was, in fact, very interested in Catholicism. And so it is interesting to see that. I do think the evangelical community is feeling that. And let me know if you agree that people are starting to wonder, like, why does my pastor? And again, it's not every pastor, but it's too many pastors get up on a stage and preach about Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson. That is leading to broader questions. And I think in the end, all of this is good. Like, the topic of faith being at the forefront of our minds worldwide is good. A Sisters writes, keep it up, Candace. It's people like you that are the hope for these two little girls in this picture. God bless you and keep you safe. Praying for you and your team with love from East Texas. Thank you so much. 8 Birds writes, the more I listen to Candace Owens, the more I want her to be crazy. And the more that people tell me she's crazy, the more I want to listen to her. Thank you so much. Our government is crazy. And the rest of us are obviously understanding that and are therefore being called crazy. If you read about the history of Sigmund Freud, the book in my book club, if you can't join the book club, that's fine. You should read The Assault on Truth to understand what sorts of lies these people are capable of telling, and why what they do is they always accuse you of being crazy when you find out what they're lying about. They have been doing this for a very long time. Candace, it came from behind. You haven't been investigating on Elon's platform enough. I can tell you definitively that Charlie's shot did not come from behind. You take that or leave that. You can still go down that narrative. You can think that you saw that. I'm not saying that a shot wasn't fired from behind. I'm not saying that. Like I said, I've given you my theory. I think there's two shooters. The entry wound is what is on the front. The bullet did not exit. You are looking for a smaller gun altogether, which is how these operations have to work. You got to have multiple things going on. It's designed to drive you crazy. And that is why I'm trying to focus investigations. And, I hope you guys trust me enough to know that I went through great hoops, I had to confirm it the right way, and I did not trust the feds. Brennan Gerby writes, I have watched every episode that you have ever done, even before the DW days. You are the best friend anyone could ask for. Charlie is lucky. Side note, wishing your kids luck when they try to sneak out as teens. They're not getting anything past you. You have not met my daughter. It's unbelievable. That girl had me putting her hair into pigtails the other night because she couldn't go to sleep, and she came downstairs. She said she just wanted to look cute. It's a ridiculous reason. It's not true. It doesn't make any sense. Nothing she said made sense. And there I was putting her hair into pigtails at 9:00 p.m., well past her bedtime, because she just wanted to look cute. So toddlers have a way of avoiding bedtime, and it's expert. It is expert level. Born to Free writes, Candace, I have been a fan since 2018. Finally got my wife on board last year. She's now in your book club and a loyal fan, and we never miss an episode. We love you so much. Christ is King. Tell her thank you. We're definitely a bit wild in the book club. Book club gets, we go there. We go there for sure. but it's fun. It's very chill. And you know that people are ready because they've read the book. So you're kind of able to push a little bit faster, I would say, on getting people to recognize just how evil things can get. And that's why I say, read The Assault on Truth, confront that, and then everything will start to make sense. Because you're going to go, how the hell have our public school systems across the world been telling us that Sigmund Freud was like a wonderful man? Like, insane. Brittany Schofield, lastly, she writes, I'm a stay-at-home mom and I homeschool our 6 children. I am so glad to see that you started homeschooling your children. We don't live a fancy lifestyle. My husband has to work his butt off, but it is so worth it. The value that it has already added to my life in just 2 weeks, and the happiness of just not racing your kids out the door, but actually structuring things and realizing they're going to learn, and how funny it is they are literally removing joy from our home and taking that joy and turning our kids into unhappy, miserable creatures that question, our parents are awful and they're woke. And by the time, by the time your kid gets through, obviously, the school system and through college, you go, what happened? And what happened is that we gave up our blessed resource. We just gave it to the system. It's so wrong. And I gotta tell you, it's working. So many moms are pulling their kids out that they're now trying to pass laws against homeschooling. That's amazing. I mean, it's not amazing they're trying to pass laws, but it's amazing that they're feeling the pressure, which I will speak about more, obviously, in the weeks to come, and exactly what we're doing and how we're doing it. We're still figuring this thing out, but every day is a new adventure. And I hope that I inspire people to take the step. You will figure it out. Human beings are adaptable, and I can tell you it is way more rewarding. Anyways, you guys, I am going on vacation. Love you. Send me tips if you have them about the topics that we discussed today. Tips at CandaceOwens.com or more tips at CandaceOwens.com. I will obviously be lurking. I will be putting together more pieces. As I said, this investigation is ongoing, and I expect that when we get back, I'm going to have even more explosive revelations for you. We are absolutely doing this for Charlie Kirk. We will not forget, okay, 9/10. We are not going to forget 9/10, least of all when it hasn't been solved. So if you'd like to support us, obviously, you can join our decentralized intelligence agency. It is truly because people around the world are sensing how evil this was and how corrupt it is that they are joining in and giving information where they can. We will always protect you. Buy yourself a hat, buy yourself a t-shirt, join the decentralized intelligence agency. And I feel optimistic, you guys. We are going to solve this thing. So I'll see you in a bit.
Okay guys, what do you think about this? If you have any questions or opinions, comment down below in the comment section. And also I'll be reacting to her next video. I'll be keep reacting to different videos nowadays. Please subscribe to me, turn on the notifications so that you can see I go live. And yeah, I'll just let me show you my new song. Okay, I just posted a new song on YouTube. It's right now, right here. You can see Tuneful Runner and Battery Operated Pianist. Okay, let me listen to this. Okay.
Kepada anak ibu yang.
I hope you guys like this song. If you guys like dubstep, this is gonna be your taste. Okay. Listen. Oh, it's going to be like dubstep and bass house. So, I featured my best friend, Elps, all the way from another state, Sarawak State. Ready for the drum. What do you think of this part? Ooh.
The point is you teleport there at the top.
What do you think of this part? I like the up. Oh, the pet.
Nah, you gotta know one thing.
your brain, bro. Use your brain. It's in your phone.
Okay, guys, that's it, guys. If you guys want to watch the animation video or the visualizer, it's at the same. I mean, it's at another page, Christopher Corinthian as well, same name, but you can see the subscriber is 876. So this is where you have the visualizers of Tuneful Runner and also battery operated pianist. Feel free to subscribe and stay tuned to my song. I'll be releasing my song, I mean my album, very soon. And I hope you like my song, okay? God bless you all. Have a nice day. Peace out. Thank you for watching my video. See you next time. Bye-bye.